Good evening, everyone. I am Anthony Ditka, and I am Laura's brother. The video is beautiful, and the kind words are so appreciated. Just in addition to her career as a prosecutor, I'd just like to share that Laura would be so proud to have her name on this award because she was all about service in addition to advocacy. She served on several boards throughout the Pittsburgh region and Western Pennsylvania, none more important than Cribs for Kids and none closer to her heart. It was truly her mission to look out for those who were most in need of protection, and this organization sums that up to a T. So she would be so honored and grateful to have her name associated with this organization, this award. But this year in particular, she would be thrilled because the recipient of the Laura Ditka Award for Advocacy and Service is our good friend, our dear friend, Sherry Jo Mack. Stand for her. I'm really here to walk her up and up.
I was always in awe of all that Laura Ditka did in her life. We knew that the space that she left behind would require many to advocate in her stead. The Women of Achievement Awards, specifically the Laura Ditka Award for Advocacy and Service, honor those who knowingly or not have stepped into her space. Tonight's honoree is no different. Unfortunately, all the good that Sherry Jo is being honored for came at a devastating cost. Many years ago, the daughter of my dear friend, Sherry Jo Mack, found herself in Laura's office. With her parents, Sienna Bott bravely reported a sexual assault at the age of 13. Sherry Jo immediately connected Sienna to PAR to support her mental health and healing. On Laura's recommendation, Laura sat on the board of PAR as well. Sienna would struggle for the next decade with continued mental health issues and ultimately addiction. Her parents fought hard for her, but she succumbed to and lost her battle in 2020. Shortly after losing Sienna, Sherry Jo knew that letting one more child die from addiction or mental health was unacceptable. She understood that much of Sienna's pain was tied to shame surrounding her circumstances. We all know there should never be that stigma, yet this family knows that it exists. In the midst of unspeakable grief, SJ, with a team of her friends, created Stop the Judgment Project. Their mission is to end the stigma surrounding addiction and mental health struggles. Sherry Jo and her husband Tom also petitioned for massive change to the way autopsy and toxicology reporting is handled in Allegheny County, which is now spreading across the Commonwealth of PA, and I imagine someday it will go nationwide. They continue to work with the DA's office to bring the drug dealers responsible for toxically laced fentanyl, dupe drugs, to justice. It is heartbreaking to even have to honor my dear friend tonight. Our families have been entwined and connected for years under many better circumstances. We wish it was a world where there was no Laura Ditka Award, nor a Sienna Bott Memorial Foundation. But if those things exist, it is absolutely right and my honor to give this award to Sherry Jo Mack.
I'm not getting through this without crying, just so you know. Thank you so much. And thank you. I cannot begin to express how, and I'll level out in a minute, I promise. I cannot begin to express how incredibly honored and humble I feel to be mentioned in the same breath as Laura Ditka. Laura's commitment, compassion, and advocacy for children and victims is awe-inspiring. Through her legal work in Allegheny County, through her work with Cribs for Kids, and through her work with Governor Josh Shapiro to bring justice to predators. I have been a fan of Laura's for a very long time. I want to wholeheartedly thank Sam and Anthony Ditka and Cribs for Kids for this award. I congratulate the nominees. I had a nice time chatting with you, so thank you and congratulations. Even though I am incredibly grateful and very honored for this award, I wish I was never standing here. The price was way too high. What brought me here was every parent's worst nightmare. On September 14th, 2020, our beautiful daughter, Sienna Bott, died in her home from a fentanyl overdose laced with fentanyl. I'm sorry, I said that twice. Sienna was just 21 years old, wanting to live her dreams while trying to break free from the demons of mental illness and the shackles of addiction. Today marks 900 days that Sienna has been gone. Sienna felt alone. However, she was not. Far too many share Sienna's struggles. Nearly 1 in 5 adults in our country live with mental illness. That means at every table of 10, 2 out of the 10. At the same time, substance use disorder affects 20 million Americans over the age of 12. In just 1 year, from April 2020 to April 2021, over 92,000 people in the United States fatally overdosed. And yes, our amazing Sienna was one of those people. And just like her, those 92,000 people represent a life lost, a family in pain, friends missed, and a friend mourned. The shocking number of people that die every hour from an overdose has reached 11. So in the time that we spend together, the 3 hours, 33 people will pass. And in a 24-hour period, it is 264 people. You can extrapolate out those numbers. I refused to let these losses be meaningless. My husband Tom and I founded Stop the Judgment Project, both to honor Sienna's memory and to address an ongoing problem. It's a problem that makes the pain of mental illness and substance abuse even worse. What could that possibly be? I'm so sorry. It's the stigma attached to mental health and addiction. It's being too afraid to talk about it because you don't want to be judged for it. It's the failure to recognize that substance use disorder and mental health are medical issues, not behavioral issues. I'm going to say that one more time just for a punch. They are medical issues and not behavioral issues. Thank you. They are real diseases, much like cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. Sienna had dual diagnosis of borderline personality disorder and bipolar disorder. She was also a drug addict, her drug of choice being Percocets after experimenting with so-called friends. Sadly, mental illness and substance abuse often go hand in hand, and neither can easily be controlled. Mental illness can be crippling and lead someone to self-medicating through drugs. In turn, these drugs hijack their brain and their behaviors. They can't stop it, and sadly, neither can their friends and family. I can assure you we tried. Sienna understood this. Her last tattoo was dedicated to me, her mother, and read, "Addiction is a family disease. One person may use, but the entire family suffers." Sienna knew, due to the judgment, stigma, and associated with her addiction, she refused to go to rehab and wanted to fight the demons on her own. Not only did she want her family not to be judged, but she also didn't want to be judged. That's what we're fighting for to end at Stop the Judgment Project. We want to raise the level of understanding and compassion for those with mental illness and substance use disorder. We want to open the lines of communication, particularly in young people, so that no one is too ashamed or too scared to talk about it and seek much needed medical treatment. And we want to help families just like ours. Look around this room. I can assure you someone in here is suffering, or certainly knows someone in here suffering. We need to be nicer in the face of this pain. We need to be more compassionate and more empathetic in the face of this epidemic, more aware that these drugs kidnap our children and those we love, despite their best efforts and ours. At Stop the Judgment Project, we are actively working to raise awareness and take concrete action. One of our projects is to modernize and humanize how toxicology reports from the medical examiner's office are delivered to grieving family members. I can tell you firsthand how devastating it is to go out to the mailbox, see a medical examiner's office envelope fall to the ground, clutching that envelope, having a neighbor come by and ask, what the hell is happening? And I showed her the envelope, knowing that it's my 21-year-old's toxicology report. There was no warning this envelope was coming. It's a cruel, cruel process. Through the first of our kind efforts in Allegheny County, these medical examiner reports are now able to be tracked online, much like an Amazon package. We are very proud of this accomplishment. This makes Allegheny County the first and only county in the entire country to offer this service for loved ones. Thank you. And somebody in here can help me take this statewide. So if you're here, I'd like to talk to you. We also are working on creating an app to speed and simplify the current nightmarish process of finding a space in a rehab facility when your loved one finally agrees to go. It's literally like lining up the moon and the sun and the stars. But we're working on an app to help you in real time. I think I'm almost done. And we are taking our message into the schools to reach and educate young people early on. I stand here before you tonight to tell you that these efforts are just the beginning of my fight and my board's. I thank you for this honor and this award. It means so much. However, this is not my award. This is my daughter Sienna's award, and all the people like her that have died or continue to suffer from mental illness and or a substance use disorder. I am in awe of their fight to make of their pain each and every day. They live with the stigma. The families live with the stigma. I ask you, please join us in this fight to make a difference. There is so much work to be done. Follow us on social media, get involved, talk with us. Our entire board is here tonight, and they would love to speak to any of you. Together we can stop the judgment and start the conversation. Thank you so much.